Now, if you're tired of losing money and watching all of your new ad campaigns completely flop, and instead you want to have the ability to choose any product, even if it's incredibly saturated, and be able to scale it to 20 grand days before Q4 starts in a few months, then you need to put your time and focus into this one crucial aspect of your ad. Damn, that was a lot more serious than my usual intros, but that's because today we're talking about hooks, and specifically how to keep people's attention from second one to the end of your ad so that they're more likely to click and buy your product so that you can literally outmarket and choose any product you want to sell because you know you can make ads way more engaging than your competitors ever could. Now, the reality is the only reason why your ads will ever fail is because you're doing one of two things wrong. Now, mistake number one is the hook or concept of your ad is just flat boring. People aren't going to want to watch because you don't create a curiosity loop. You don't get them engaged. And a good hook is always going to create some sort of question in the mind of your customer as to, oh, what happens next? Why? How? It's got to spark some level of curiosity. So when I look at this hook right here, which just says the product name and that it increases hydration level, that doesn't create an open loop. I could really care less. And it's a very broad line here. It's not hyper specific to the target audience. So I can't imagine this working really well. And when we look at the visual too, it's just a left to right on the products. It's nothing that interesting, like having a before and after of here's my face before using this moisturizer versus here it is after using it, or having someone squeeze the tube and it comes flying out and that immediately is going to get your attention, or having some sort of satisfying visual of this product. In fact, there's just so much text going on here that, I don't know how I'm supposed to possibly read all of this or even know what to focus on. So even though this ad got 4 million impressions, it actually did do well. You could see right here, we probably could have marketed this a hell of a lot better if we first focused in on, okay, what's the concept that shows the value of this product in the most interesting way? And that's why I've studied thousands of ads and have come up with the different frameworks that I know work for me personally. So if you haven't seen my how to market any product video, I actually covered some of the most common frameworks that I use so that you can use those to effectively make entertaining ads that actually do talk about the value props, what actually makes your product different and provides value to your customer. So if we had a few right here, we can do a problem solution ad, we can do before and after. We really just want to think what makes this interesting. And I think before and after makes a lot of sense, especially for a visual product. Now, the best way to create a successful ad for your e-commerce brand every single time is just to create a curiosity loop inside of your hook. So if I'm doing a before and after ad for this skincare product that just shows how amazing my skin looks now that I've used this product, I'll have first an engaging visual, which will be a split screen. So half of the screen will be, this is what I looked like before using the product, and this is what I look like after. But what is the lines the creator should say to create that curiosity loop? Well, I think you should try to Trojan horse your product and maybe say, this is what my skin looked like 4 weeks ago, and this is what it looked like now after doing this one change. And then immediately the viewer is going to say, what was that change? What was that tweak? I want to learn how they went from this to that. And that's what I'm talking about. You kind of have to have a cliffhanger, or at least have your audience think of a question in their mind and feel like, okay, I'm going to watch this video so that I can learn exactly what this product was. Because the key to getting people to watch your entire ad, click, and then buy your product is to first create that curiosity by giving them a little bit of information, but not everything, so that they feel incomplete, that they have to watch this video to understand what it is that you actually did to get a specific result or to solve a problem. So you can't just say, oh, I solved it by using this product, because immediately, okay, that doesn't create any curiosity. I already know, okay, this is going to be an ad. So a boring hook would be, I lost 30 pounds using the Ab Cruncher Pro. And maybe some people will be interested in learning, yeah, how did you lose those 30 pounds? Or I could say, this is by far the easiest way to lose weight without going to the gym. And that's immediately going to create so much more curiosity in your viewers that have that specific problem of losing weight and they don't want to go to the gym, because they're going to be like, yeah, how? How do I actually get this desired result? And you remove the pain point of having to go to the gym. And after that hook, they're obviously going to be hooked and want to watch the rest. So then, you introduce your product, you explain how you're able to lose so much weight after you had this amazing product. And this is the only product like it. It's so much more better than all the other options on the market. It's going to have these benefits and you should only buy from this place. And I can guarantee that it's going to perform a lot better than a more generic hook where you don't create any curiosity and you just go right to the point. Now, before I get into the rest of the video, if you can leave a like and comment down below, especially for the algorithm, so that YouTube knows this was a valuable video and we can push it to more and more people. And if you have a friend right now that you're probably doing e-commerce with and you're both struggling with your ads, share this video to them so they know exactly what they're doing wrong and how they they can make their ads so much more engaging so that you can both scale your brands. Now, if you want to create e-commerce ads that scale your brand to 7 figures, then you have to steal the same strategy that YouTubers like MrBeast and Mark Rober use to get millions of views organically. And that's either using a cliffhanger or setting up the stakes for what someone can expect when they watch the full video of your ad. So in this ad right here from Mark Rober's e-commerce brand, you can see he invited MrBeast into his headquarters, and watch what happens in the hook.
This is MrBeast opening a box he probably shouldn't.
And immediately that creates a curiosity loop in your head. Why shouldn't he have opened that box? What happens after he opens that box? Why does he pause right there? What happens afterwards? That should be the exact emotion that your target customer is thinking in their head after watching your hook. And if they don't have that reaction of wondering how, why, what happens next, then your hook is simply boring. The concept of your ad might also be boring. And that's why people aren't watching your ad, they're not clicking, and you can't scale at all. So if we do this for another example, which could be this pimple patch, and as you can see, she's removing it with the tweezer. It's very delicate, and you see that ooey gooey pus. It looks absolutely beautiful. Mwah. But imagine if in this ad, they wanted to sell the different benefits of their product, and as the hook, they have the exact same clip, but it pauses right there. You have the cliffhanger. You don't get to see the big reveal. So naturally, you're like, oh, I have to watch the rest of the video to see what actually happened. And that's what TV shows like Breaking Bad, Game of Thrones, all of the best TV shows ever, if you ask me, except for that ending for Game of Thrones. That was kind of sus, I can't lie. But they all use cliffhangers to get you to want to watch more. And if they don't have that, there's no suspense. If they already kind of close the loop on the story, you just don't care. Now, in order to create an amazing curiosity loop, you have to be able to see it outside of just the world of ads. So if we go onto YouTube and we study Aman Ghazi, Daddy Ghazi, who's absolutely crushing it in the business niche, I want you to look at his YouTube titles and see if they somewhat create curiosity and have that open loop created in your mind. So when we look at this title right here, what's in this box will make you millions. Immediately, of course, you want to click that video because you're like, yeah, what's in the box? What is this big reveal? How is it going to make me money? But when we compare that to another title, which could be, I built 3 schools in Nepal, there really isn't that much curiosity. In fact, he's saying exactly what the video is going to be about. He's just building some schools, which obviously is great and everything, but I don't say why, I don't say how, I don't say what happens next. He already told me what happens. So I'm not that curious compared to maybe another video where it says, I broke the code on how to get rich and here's how. So immediately I'm going to say, yeah, how do I get rich? What is this code that he's speaking of? Or I haven't been completely honest. And immediately in my head, I'm thinking, what hasn't he been honest about? Is he lying about something? Again, you want to click to watch because of the titles. It's little things like that that make your ad more interesting if you can apply it. I want you to watch the hook of this ad right now and tell me if you think this was a winning ad or you're just completely uninterested.
These socks are one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
So with that information of these are the coolest socks I've ever seen, that may create a curiosity loop to make you want to watch the rest of the ad because you're wondering, yeah, why are these the coolest socks? Maybe the visual's kind of interesting of this person just absolutely beating the crap out of their sock. But I will admit it felt a little bit generic because the hook itself wasn't really hyper specific to a benefit or a promise. In fact, you could say this is the coolest water ball I've ever seen. You could say that about any single product, which I don't like because a good hook should be specific to your target audience and either a desired result that they want or getting rid of a problem that they have. I think the concept is actually pretty interesting of having water inside of the sock, then outside of the sock when we go inside into a river. And I believe if the hook was just a bit more interesting of saying something like, I just bought these waterproof socks on Amazon and today I'm going to be drowning them in multiple places and seeing if they still remain dry afterwards. Now for me, that's more interesting because it sets up the stakes. It creates a curiosity loop of, yeah, are these actually waterproof? Do they live up to the hype? What are the different places they're going to dunk these socks in? And yeah, are they going to remain dry? People just naturally are so interested in these experiments because you don't know what's going to happen next. You haven't revealed exactly what it is that's going to happen because it could be good or bad. Maybe the socks completely flop and they don't really filter it out really well and they look terrible afterwards. Or at the end, we can see right here, oh, the socks look absolutely perfect after being used and abused in an ocean or a river or in a pool. So that would be a really great way of showing the benefits of your product. And before we get into the rest of this video, if you do have an e-commerce brand that you're looking to scale to 6 figures a month and maybe you've hit a plateau, my agency will make custom UGC and graphic creatives on Facebook and Instagram while handling your media buying and CRO to help you scale your brand to all new heights. So if you're interested in having all of your marketing done by experts, including myself, then all you have to do is book a call down below for a free consultation call where we'll look at your whole ad account, website, and everything, give you a full audit for free so you get a ton of value and see if we're the right fit to help scale your brand to 6 figures a month. Now, the key to crafting $1 million hooks that get people to watch your ad and buy your product product immediately is to use one of these key elements about your target audience. And that's usually mentioning the desired transformation of your target audience or the pain point they have and how they can get rid of it in a specific time frame. So if I'm selling a fragrance for young guys that are looking to attract women, well, the problem is most people's hooks for that type of ad are really generic. They go onto some 300 hook document like this and they go in, they try to plug in the placeholders and they just call it a day. So they say, guys, you won't believe this. And with a hook like that, it may create a little curiosity, but it's just too generic. It doesn't talk about the main benefit that I care about. So if I am a young guy, I'm probably going to scroll past that ad because it just doesn't speak directly to me. And if you contrast that with a hook that's more specific, like saying, if you're a single guy, this is by far the easiest way to pull that 10 out of 10 that you've been eyeing on before school starts. And I can guarantee as a guy who had no Riz or game in high school, I would immediately watch that entire video to understand what it is that I can do to pull and get that desired result. And that's why the next step of the ad should be convincing my target audience on why they need to smell good to attract girls. And then the next logical question they're going to have is, okay, well, what do I need to buy to smell good? And then boom, you introduce your product. It's the best option. This is the one that gets a ton of girls. They're going to buy immediately. And we can have a hook that mentions the pain point that we're trying to solve. So again, we're trying to help guys get girls by smelling good. We could have the hook of, I used to get rejected by every single girl I'd ever talked to until I tried this one thing out. And immediately you're going to say, okay, I need to learn what that one thing is, or what did he change to finally get there? And we can combine different things. Like here's the desired dream state, and this is the time frame it's going to take to get to that dream state. So it could be, this is the secret to getting girls literally throwing themselves at you in only a few minutes. And again, it would just be explaining, hey, you put on this fragrance, it only takes a few minutes. You go out to the club, and then we have these great clips of girls that are complimenting, that are smelling you, that say that you smell amazing, that they want to go home with you. And again, you might have to find a little bit of good UGC in there because probably not going to get that in real life. But again, that's going to be how you market it. Now, if you apply these different principles of creating curiosity loops and making people ask the question in their head of why, how did they get that result, or what's going to happen next, the only way you should realistically ever fail with your ads in the future is just if the benefit, the promise, the payoff that people get from watching your full video just isn't enticing enough for them. So that's where you have to have a deep understanding of your audience and what they truly care about and how to get their attention. Otherwise, yeah, your ads will still continue to fail. So you can't have these very vanilla promises in your video of saying, oh, here's 3 ways I build muscle using the AbCore Pro. And again, maybe just people aren't that interested in that idea of just building muscle. They've already seen it a million times. But if you can be more hyper specific on that building muscle line and just make it a little spicier, then people will want to watch. So finally, I want to watch a few winning ads that all have millions of impressions. And I want you to use the lessons we just learned today and say, how can I make this ad more interesting? Because all of these ads are not perfect. I believe they all can be better. So if we look at this first one right here, it's a dress. Literally, there's no text. It just says main character dress. It got 5 million impressions. It is just a repeat loop of this girl walking away, which is perfectly fine. But I believe a much more interesting ad would have been if the creator was face to face the camera and said, there is one dress in my closet that every time I wear it, my man goes absolutely feral, or guys at the club go absolutely nuts. And I can guarantee if you're a woman and you're buying dresses, you're going to immediately say to yourself, what is this dress? I need to have this dress, or I need to know what it looks like. I need to see her put this on, and I will be the one that determines if that really is worth the hype and the stakes that she set up. Now, this ad right here has 5 million impressions, so it's another winner, but again, the hook is so bad.
ROAS test on the Milani Conceal and Perfect Foundation and Concealer.
Okay, so now we just heard the hook, which is they're doing a wear test to see basically how does it last after a specific amount of time. So this girl basically goes into it.
I have been wearing this foundation. It's in, still looking good and fresh, and this is what it looks like at the end of the night. I have been wearing this foundation for 13 hours. Milani Conceal and Perfect is it.
So I think overall the concept is good. I like the idea of doing some sort of dry test, but I think the overall hook itself could have been presented in a much more interesting way. So I actually like this concept of doing a wear test on dry skin. We're going to see how it lasts after 12 hours, but she doesn't mention that she's going to be doing it for 13 hours. So I don't really feel the need to watch the rest of the video. But if she says that from the get-go of saying, I'm going to be wearing this concealer or I'm going to be wearing this foundation for 13 hours to see how it lasts after a night out, that would make me more interested because I'm like, yeah, how is it going to actually perform? I don't know. She's a little bit too general with the wording. She doesn't actually say any of the benefits. She doesn't talk about the viewer dream state. And honestly, I don't really wear makeup, so I don't know the dream state, but I'm assuming it would be something along the lines of, I'm going to be wearing this foundation for 12 hours to see if it holds, it doesn't get cakey even after a night out. Now that is interesting because you can say, all right, it's currently 1 p.m. I'm applying it right now. now. And you can get into a little bit of subtle selling of saying, yeah, here are the benefits. I just love the way it looks on me, the shine, all this stuff. And you can have great clips of here's my look going out. And you have a clip of you partying, maybe dancing a little bit. And then boom, you show the clock again. Okay, it's been 13 hours. It still looks exactly the same. I am absolutely impressed. I am never going to ever use another foundation again. Boom, that's an ad.